And it seems like she's done this more than once. So let me bring Momo in, and then hey Momo.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, what was your overall thoughts about the movie?
Okay, overall, I thought it was good. Obviously, I learned a lot, Moochie likes to make fun of me for being her little sis. At the time of Miss Cleo, I was very much so a little Momo. But
Mm-hmm.
you guys know I'm very big into 90s culture because that was definitely my culture in the time that I grew up. And yes, at 7 and 8 years old, I 100% remember seeing Miss Cleo, call me now. And I remember seeing all the ads, and she was literally a part of pop culture of the 90s, and it was very interesting to learn more about her story, and literally, like the title says, her rise and fall. So it was interesting.
It was. Because it's like she basically started with fraud out the gate, and
Mm,
then she had to leave town to because she had to leave town because she spent these people money. It's obvious she did. She misappropriated the funds. Whatever date she was getting from the sales that night from the door,
hmm.
she was gonna use that basically as her like her spending cash to get away, basically.
Yep. Now, Moochie, do you recognize that male actor?
Yeah, I forgot what I seen him in something.
We all know
You
him
tell
as
me.
the. I will tell you, we all know him as the woof woof, the Red Dogs from this past season of BMF.
Oh
He played one of the
yeah. Ain't
lead
that
Red
the guy
Dogs,
you
and I met him with his fine self. Yes, I met him at the BMF event. Yeah, so shout out to I hate that I don't remember his name. Y'all know I'm bad at with names.
So
But
you
yeah,
should
it
have
was
got
good
you could have
to meet
got him
him.
for the interview because
If I had,
look, we
I
gonna talk
know
about him.
if I had known, I mean, it's
I
not much
tried
to
to
do.
tell you. You said somebody else you knew from there too. You knew two people from the cast, right?
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Yeah, I'm mad. I did not realize it was him when I watched it today because obviously I would have reached out. But yeah.
See, you should have watched it yesterday like you was supposed to.
Mhm. What else in
Hey,
the door? Oh, we got sound effects.
There you go.
what's
Hey,
up?
Tamika.
Welcome to my crib. Ew.
You are
So,
so silly.
Tamika, what was your thoughts about this movie? And was it accurate? Because this is from our era, T. How close was it to the commercials that we saw on TV and the infomercials and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was cool. I thought she did a really good job. That was a good pick. I would like to see her in some more stuff. Like, okay, Lady Rage, come through.
Yeah, she did a good job. She did do a
Mhm.
good job.
She
So look,
reminded me of
she
her.
like she was couch surfing too with her girls.
Yeah.
So she wore her welcome out with this chick.
Ooh,
Mhm.
baby. Mm-mm. She went a little bit too easy on that woman, if you ask me.
Nah, she had to leave quietly. See, she got to get out of Dodge now, so she gonna try to diffuse everything. You don't wanna have a hurricane when you leave. You already got these people from the play on your back. Now she's already mad at you. You just you gave her the warning. She knew you meant business. It is what it is, because she did raise up on her. She did raise up on her.
You being very nice. You being very nice, Moochie. You being
I'm no,
very.
I think she was being strategic.
Yeah,
Now,
I felt two ways about it. On one hand, I was like she was too late, but on the other hand, once all this other stuff came out, and I know she didn't want the popo to look at, be on the lookout for her, and she was trying to get out of Dodge. I see why she probably didn't go to the max that she would have went to, and then maybe that could have been calmer because that was kind of grimy what she did to the people. I'm just saying.
Very grimy. But listen, I'm not a mother yet, so if I'm overstepping, it is what it is. But this is how I feel. I have a little sibling. I have little cousins that I used to raise and take care of. So no, you put your hands on my child to the point where you leave a bruise or mark on them, we about to fight. And this is my issue with what everything y'all saying. I get what y'all are saying, but I just feel like for me, let's not act like she didn't have nobody. She had her mom. I know her mom was probably a piece of work from what we saw on the show, but this is where you put your pride and ego to the side for the betterment of your children. You could have went to your mom's house and been like, look, mom, let me stay here for 3 nights, whatever night, a week. Show her what happened to the baby and be like, look, please, I don't ask you for nothing, but please, can you just let us stay here for a week or so? I don't give a damn. Ain't no way better put your hand on my child and leave a mark on their face like that. We would have been tussling and fighting in that mother trucker.
They had to leave town right after this thing happened because you remember.
We would have been packing up in the car and we would have slept. I don't care.
I'm just saying, somebody like that would have been in jail if you acting on your emotions. She picked the lesser of the two evils. But I mean, you have a right to your opinion, and it is what it is.
She was just too light for me. She would have gotten at least a lethal cussing out.
She did tell her don't test her. She picked up she had the mop. When she picked up that broom that she had in her hand, she tried to hit her with that and she grabbed it and she was like, don't. So I mean, I'm looking at it like for principle, but I'm looking at it like, yo, if something pop off and the cops come, I'm gonna be even in more doo-doo if this happens.
I get what you're saying. I guess my confusion with the writing is if the cops were looking for her, they surely weren't looking hard enough for her.
So you got to remember, this is like the 90s. Everything ain't on computer yet. So, everything ain't on social media. You know how they catching these people that's doing these other things, how quick they catch. It's not going to be like that. It's a slow process. So, right now, nobody really knows about it. The people don't even know that she stiffed them without leaving them the money.
Right.
They just know the play was over. They're going to divvy everything up, but she never came back. So she's just trying to get out of town. So I saw where it was going with this. So I understood. Sometimes you got to handle, sometimes you do have to pick the lesser of the two evils. And she had to get out of town. And what? If she gets jammed up, her kids is gone.
That's true. That is so true.
And they can't even get their money back. It's going to cost them more money trying to get that money back. I felt bad for these people because it seemed like she had them on the hook for everything and they didn't realize anything that was going on. She basically conned them. It was a grift. But that one guy, he seemed like he's going to be determined to get everything back that she took from them. And that's what I liked about that. Hey, Daria. Hey, Sally. Okay. And EJ, I don't know if she's coming or what. She might be coming. What's up, Suburbia? Yeah, she was on the Steve Harvey show too. That's right. She was one of his students.
Oh.
Lady of Rage. She was on a couple of things because we was talking about like I know Inga says she didn't really see her do any acting, but everybody remember her from the Friday movie, so
Yeah, she has small roles and different things. She definitely have been in other things, but as far as this role right here, and her playing this main character based on an actual person, I think it was a good fit. And I would like to see her have some more main roles. I think she might have, something that she's good at.
I agree. Okay, y'all. Oh, by the way, hold on. Let me just go to here real quick. By the way, y'all, I'm out of YouTube jail. Shouts out to Suburbia Jones. He just gave me a $50 super chat. Well, no, he gave me a so thank you. Look, I'm out of jail, y'all. And I'm back. So I don't know if y'all want to, hit me with some gratitude. I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Congratulations. Welcome back.
Thank you, Em.
Let's get this money.
So, look, she got out of town, new beginnings, and we see how At first, she wasn't doing good with this thing. But she had to find her own niche. And when she found her own niche, she take off like a rocket, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
What was y'all thoughts of the conversations and how she was talking to these people? But we'll go with her boss first and her signing that thing saying that she was a psychic, because that thing is gonna come back and haunt her.
Mm.
So who wants to go first to talk about like everything that's here so far? Her just starting out with this business, her and things of that nature.
I'll go.
Go ahead, mama.
It just really goes to show you how really important it is for us to make sure we read everything before we sign documentation. There's countless of stories, obviously, we know from the 80s and 90s. If we focus on the music industry, that's why so many people were signing terrible contracts, i.e., Tony Braxton, TLC, the list goes on and on and on. So, this is just another example of like, damn, you got to read the documentation before you sign it. The boss cracked me up. I know y'all know I'm bad with names. I know I've seen her before in other roles, so it was nice to see her in this. Any of you ladies recognize her from previous roles?
I remember her from the Single Moms Club.
Okay.
Thank you, dearie.
Oh, yay, more money. And then so I don't know. It's just that documentation. I'm just confused. I guess it's just it's weird to me because on one hand they're saying, oh, this is all entertainment, but then on the other hand you're making the workers sign a documentation claiming that they are psychic. So it's really, I guess it was a way for them to save the companies behind. I'm sure since years past they've found loopholes in that, right? I mean, obviously they haven't even done psychic stuff. They kind of left that alone. I guess after the Miss Cleo lawsuit and everything. But I will say I thought it was very, very unique of her. Obviously, she does have a creative bug within her for her to tap into her time in, I guess, theater or whatever she was doing, to be creative enough to almost create a character. That I will say that was very, very smart and very creative of her. And she did it very well. She was very convincing. She convinced customers, she convinced companies. And I mean, like I said, she's a notable figure of pop culture. So I have to say, yes, she was shady, and I don't like that side of her, but the creative side was very much so present.
Okay, so Tamika, what was your take on this whole thing with her basically having her little having her whole little flair on how she kept them on the phone, because it was new beginnings, and she said your job is to keep them on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she was kind of having a hard time at first, but at the end of the day, she knows she's trying to make this money and take care of stuff. She don't want to have to go back to her mama and all of that. So I think she just dug into what she already knew and was like, okay, I'm going, use it in this situation and I'm gonna make the best of it. She literally, and she was good at it. It seemed like she was a natural, and once she started getting it going, that was pretty much all she wrote.
I personally liked it. Inga, now let me ask you something, Inga. Do you remember her commercials?
Do I remember what?
Do you remember her little slogans and her commercials from back in the day?
Yeah, it was playing all night long. If you stayed, if you got past midnight, you saw it all night long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was laughing at this girl's mother down here, Portia, because I even wrote down her name because her mother sound like real moms.
The one wrapped up in the blanket.
Yes, when she
Well,
did the thing. Oh, look, I'm not.
So Wanda Braxton,
Yes,
she stayed on the damn couch the whole damn thing. I was like, is Wanda ever getting up off of here? But I like see her having no roles.
I
Yes.
liked her. I
That was
liked her.
Wanda Braxton, the sister of Tony Braxton. I'm sure y'all see the reality show, The Braxtons, or the
Mm-hmm.
Family Braxton Values, whatever that's what it used to be called. But yeah, she was on that couch. Was she supposed to be
Yes.
like drunk? Was she supposed to be like a drunkard?
I
Like,
don't know
No,
what
look, she
she
could
was
be
supposed to
working when
be.
she go and
Yeah,
lay
I
down
didn't
when
like
she
they
get home
never
from work.
specified. I didn't know if she was just coming in laying down after she got off work. I didn't know if she was supposed to be sick, but we just knew she was on that couch and she didn't want you running up her damn phone bill.
I was like,
She
she's
act
so
just like them
mean.
real mama.
You
She's
know
so
what?
mean.
That's what made me think about it because you know what? I had a friend, her mother used to put the lock on the phone. Do you remember back in the day?
Damn.
Look,
Oh
I
yeah.
look, you ain't gonna remember this, Momo. Back in the day, look, if you had a rotary phone, who remembers people putting locks on their phone so their
Yes. My
parents so you
grandmother used
couldn't
to
use the
have
Yeah.
a
phone while
lot.
they was at work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Or
you couldn't use the phone just anytime you felt like it. Mm-mm.
no,
No,
shoot, you know.
using the phone for me, yes, using the phone was definitely a privilege, but it never got to the point where my parents had to do that in my house.
But
I
that was
get
before you. Yeah, you
Yeah,
wouldn't
that was
probably.
before the
Yeah.
cordless
Yeah.
phones.
That. No,
oh,
they
That
used
was
to lock the
before.
phone up. They used to put the lock on the phone, so you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
dial no numbers. It was
damn.
especially on the
Sure.
rotary phone. It was
Exactly.
a
You was
yeah,
high tech if you had a push button phone in your house back in the day.
right.
That was high tech back then. Look,
Hmm.
I'm just telling my age, Jane.
Ew.
Anyhow, look, I remember my friend's mother had that they had that lock on their phone. And she'd be like, could
Oh
you
wait,
just
look at Moochie, look at Amina's comment. She said she called and ran up the bill. Look.
wait, hold on, wait. Where's Avina? I can't even.
Oh,
Okay.
snap.
There we go. She said, laughing my ass off. I actually called that mess before when I was 17. The bill was like $500.
Ooh.
It was not Miss Cleo. Was it the
Oh,
Psychers Friends Network? I
she
got
won.
everything wrong. I hung up on them. She got everything wrong and I hung up on them.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you, EJ. Ew. So yeah, look, they was already getting lawsuits this business.
Mm.
And it seemed like where she was in, she remember when she relocated to Florida. She didn't even tell her mother where she was going. By the time she got to where she was going, one of the kids contacted her mother to let her know that she left town. But
Good.
they see that she's bringing in the money and they like, we love you. Let's get this money. So, you know, that's where they at right now at this point. And Steve is Steve and Peter. Steve is the guy is Sax's character. Like, look, y'all know who Sax is, so y'all, if most of my people here watch Power, so I'm not even gonna. Y'all know who he is. That's Shane, and he's he's the in charge of the business. He's the owner of the business, so it's his business, and Peter brings Cleo's numbers to his attention. He says, I've been listening to her phone calls and she's amazing. So they really like her stick, and they're basically she's gonna be the face of their business. And there's pros and cons with that, but right now she's just seeing all the pros. She heard everything they said, and she liked what she heard. I they negotiated some money, but I don't think it was like a big difference right there at this point, because I don't even think they knew how big they was gonna be with this.
Mm-mm.
What was y'all thoughts on the businessmen, with them and bringing her in further, and basically centering their business around her?
Hmm. The
I
crooks.
mean, it made sense. They just was sitting there talking about how things wasn't working out and they owing people and he want to take no call from what was his name from Miami Vice? I
Oh
can't.
yeah, Philip Michael Thomas. He was
Yeah.
the spokesperson for the last time. That yep.
He was trying to avoid all the calls and all of that. So if you see this person is really like your biggest breadwinner, she getting the most calls, people calling in and requesting her they don't even want the other workers, then of course you're going to be like, oh, well, we need to get her, on the main stage so she can bring us in some bucks.
They was like, look, we gonna put this big money maker behind it, and don't they knew that lawsuits was gonna be coming, but they was like, we gonna worry about that later. Let's get this money. They done set up this had a whole campaign with her. She had her own commercial, and y'all remember these commercials, right?
Yep.
The famous "Call Me Now."
Yep.
Mm-mm.
And they probably I used to do collections. If they hear you like when you got the gift, when you like really shooting game, they'll sit back and watch, listen to them calls, and be amazed at it. Cause she probably was keeping them on the phone a long time. Cause she doing a whole deck of cards, y'all.
Right.
And then people gonna have more questions. Even though some people know deep in their heart that this night might not be real, but some stuff it seemed like it's geared towards them when they hear it. I don't know. Some of she seemed like she was getting like a lot of people was believing her, and it was just like she had it going on. I ain't gonna front.
So psychics, was it a big deal in the 90s? Like,
yeah, they had the psychics friend network, and it seems like this was connected with that, y'all. Did y'all notice that?
Yeah.
Because I want to say, was this about they had Dionne Warwick, and then her network went down after because they was getting a lot of complaints.
Warwick and Friends.
It was Dionne Warwick and Friends, and then you had this, but I never knew this was connected to the Psychic Friends network. I didn't know she was connected with that too. Did any of y'all know that?
Because I never really knew it specifically, but I've just always remembered seeing those two commercials all through the night, like Inga said.
But there were lots of them. They weren't the only one. It was lots of those psychic things. It was lots of them. Yeah,
it was a lot
very
of
popular in the 90s. Very popular.
Look, you had Suzanne Summer with her Thigh Master. Yeah, I remember that. So as her look, I was looking at all of these things with the popularity, and then you see the guy that she griffed in the beginning. He's starting to see her on TV, so you know he mad
with his fine self. Yeah, he mad. Real mad.
You had people coming to her mother's house because they know it's her on TV, because they getting these outlandish phone bills. I thought some of these scenes was funny to me. What was y'all thoughts?
Yeah, I was cracking up with some of those things, but I also was like, sir, I don't own the damn business. My daughter don't own the damn business. Like, you better call them. Hell, you knocking at my door for?
You know how you come into my door like I'm gonna give you money. That's her job. She's just acting. That's the same thing I would have said if he came to my door talking about your child did X, Y, and Z, and this is why. No, it's free will. Your daughter listened on the phone.
Yeah, Latoya Jackson definitely had one too.
Oh yeah, that's right, Sally.
There was lots of celebrities during that time. It was a multiple amount of celebrities. They were all doing these types of things, all kind of infomercials.
Yup. Look, you even had Chuck Norris doing like the exercise equipment. But when she was talking to this lady, that girl was telling everything when she probably was helping her along with her reading. I don't care what nobody said. This the chick in the hat. She was funny where even Cleo hung up on her. Huh? I didn't hear you. I said even Cleo hung up on her because that she was on that call too long. Yeah. But they branded it like it was her. Yeah, they did. They did because she probably was their biggest. She was bringing in the most money. So they did brand it around her, and then people was calling just asking specifically for her. So then it was getting difficult with that. And then she came when she asked for a bigger cut. This is
This
when he
is where
shut
he
her
shut her
down
down
with the
with the
meetings.
meetings.
I got feedback. I don't know who. Okay. So what was y'all take on this? With her mother warning her about this whole entire thing, y'all.
I knew it was well, we already know the damn story anyway, but anytime your mama tell you something and then say, don't come crying to me later, you already know. There's gonna be a time when you're gonna be picking up that phone and you're gonna be crying about something. And she was like, oh no, I got it all under control. I'm taking care of my kids. I want them to have a good life, which, it wasn't nothing wrong with that part of it, but it was like some signs were starting to come through. Like you may want to go ahead and, check some things out and reevaluate some things. This may not be the right way to go about it, but she's just looking at it like it's an acting job. I'm bringing apart. I'm paying my bills. I'm taking care of my kids. That's it. And then, of course, her going to him to ask for money, which I ain't blame her because she knew her contract was about to be up. And it's like, I'm basically y'all money maker. I'm the face of it. Why not get a bigger cut?
Right. I think Tamika brings up a good point. I do think she was very naive in just thinking that it was simply like an acting gig. I think she did not, you can tell she did not look at it as a business deal. Because I feel like if she did, hopefully she would have been smart enough to have gotten her own lawyer from the get-go. But again, I don't think she realized even what this was about to be, how big it was going to grow. But she was definitely a little bit naive, I will say.
Inga, you think if she would have looked at this like this was her grift, she probably would have came off better?
If she had looked at it like what?
Like it was her, like, look, a grift is a grift. This a grift just like what she was doing. So
Yeah,
if she would have looked at it like this was her thing, like how she did with the other thing, do you think she would have came off better with money wise if she knew? I don't think she knew like the intricate stuff of it. If she did, she would have came off and made more money. Cause he was getting the bulk of it, this guy.
Yeah, she was a scammer, but she just wasn't thinking. She thought it was something legit. She was making honest money. So she didn't think about the bigger picture. And I don't think, honestly, this could have happened to anybody. Because I don't think anybody, especially at that time, it's not like we a little more astute now on things and we pay attention to stuff and we just don't fall for everything as much now. But back then, you're talking about leaving from the 80s into the 90s. It was no social media. It was nothing to look up. Nobody was thinking about getting lawyers. And now everybody get a lawyer for if they trip off the curb. Now it's any little thing you get a lawyer. But now it wasn't like that then. So she didn't think about it.
It was barely people on the internet. Remember, she didn't find out about stuff that was going on till like later on.
Yeah, because I feel like at this point in the game, really, I mean, if she would have been thinking about it in that way, she could have let the contract expire and got her own thing, probably did it out of her house or got her a little shop and had people come in and pay her that way. And they all come straight to her. Plenty of people go to them little shops to get their reading.
Yep. So everything that she's doing now is having effect on the girls at home. Who wants to talk about that first? I felt bad for the kids. Well, who anybody else want to address it? Because the oldest daughter took it the hardest to me. She was embarrassed by her.
I mean, I just feel like Cleo, Miss, whatever the hell her real name is, not even her real name. Your whatever her name is, I don't even know. But I obviously felt like she was obviously a selfish person because you took your kids from where they're used to being and then you just uproot them across the country wherever she moved to. So and you took them away from their grandmother. So it's just like I already felt like that was a little bit of selfishness. And then obviously she got wrapped up in the world of Miss Cleo and, you know, wasn't really there for her children as far as emotionally being there, checking in on them. She didn't really know what was going on in their lives. So she definitely dropped the ball, I feel like, as a parent. So that's clear.
I mean, she dropped the ball, but she was making sure she provide for her kids. So I get it. She don't.
Well,
You
we
know how
know.
people don't look at it like that because she's like, "Well, I'm working from home. You know, it's not like I'm neglecting them and things like that. They got everything they need, but she's just not
Yes,
talking
as
to
far
them."
as necessities, but we all know in real
Right.
life,
I mean,
necessities.
that's usually how it is when you're a working mom. Even if you are at home, when you're at home, sometimes that could be even harder because they feel like they can interrupt you because you're there, but technically you're not
Right.
there because this is your work hours and you busy with that. So one of the things I remember the daughter saying was like, "Oh, well, when am I supposed to have time for her? She's always on the phone. She's working." And when they was about to
Right.
go tell her something, she had closed the door. And then it was like the other part of it is because she was getting more popular and people think she's a scammer or whatever different things they saying she weird. Now you get your kids being made fun of, and you know the guy not wanting to talk to her because his parents don't like her, and there's that aspect of it. So it was two different situations happening. But I
Mm-hmm.
did like that she took time and went and talked to the dude and tried to get to the bottom of what was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she felt like she was gonna be ridiculed around with she felt like she was gonna be ridiculed by her peers. So yeah. Anybody else? Look, now the whole now it's going legal. Now they're being investigated, and being that she's the face, they want to come after her too. So she's scared at this point. She's kind of afraid now of what could happen, but they still trying to let her know we got this. Don't worry, you just stay with us. If you stick with us and we all stick together, everything will be all right. What was y'all take on this? Cause I didn't know that it went this far. I remember she was on different shows where they was talking about how the people was getting robbed. But then again, with those 900 numbers, everybody was getting a high bill because of stuff they didn't realize how they was doing like a bait and switch with the whole thing. They would have you call an 800 number, and then in order to get in touch with her, it was a 900 number. And those average calls would cost about $60. So people was running up their bills, keep staying on the phone talking to these people.
So this is my question, y'all, on the legal, and I probably have to talk to a lawyer, but on the legal aspect, I'm very confused. Is it twofold? Because one, I guess there was an issue because she wasn't technically a psychic, but then when I looked at the commercials, like the actually pull up the real commercials, it says at the bottom of the screen, the first 3 minutes are free. So obviously, after the first 3 minutes, you're going to be charged. They did not disclose how much the customers would be charged? Or I mean, you know, what was the technicality of
It,
them to even have a real lawsuit against this?
Well,
that's what it was.
you could spend 3 minutes just being on hold. So
That's
that
right.
probably was the 3 minutes free. And it did say for entertainment purposes. But see, people saw what they wanted to see. You
Right.
going through a breakup with your boyfriend and you just want somebody to talk to. People, there was no psychology today. There was no better me and all that kind of stuff. It was no these services that we have now where you can call and have therapy. So they was like, let me call and talk to this person and get some advice about whatever's going on. And you don't know if they real or not real, you know. And nobody's reading all the fine print on the bottom of their TV screen, and it's flashed so fast you don't have
Mm-hmm.
time to read a note. You can't read it anyway. It's so small. They still do that on commercials now, where they have the stuff
Exactly.
so small that you gotta get right. You put your eyeball up right into the screen to read it. You know,
You ain't
so
lying.
yeah, so that still happens now with but I think but it did say entertainment purposes, but I think people saw what they wanted to see.
Yeah, most of that
And
stuff
then
was
people
just more writing, so they wasn't paying attention to that part of it. That's how they was able to get over. You ain't thinking about that aspect. 800 number is free, but everybody knew that a 900 number you have to pay. So it's like you calling the 800 number first, and then you calling that 900 number. That's why they kept saying They argument was like, oh, are they dumb? It literally says this, that, and third, but then it's contradictory at the same time because the stuff you had her sign says, oh, she is a psychic, and then that was that side of it. So that's how they was getting over. And basically the FCC and them was like, yeah, no, that ain't happening. We supposed to have certain guidelines for this, and they wanted to use them as an example.
There was so many calls to the Better Business Bureau about these 900 lines because a lot of people's phone bills were going into collections and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and there was a lot of 900 numbers at that time.
They had the hotlines where you could call for a lady and stuff like that. I almost had a job doing one of those
commercials.
Like I almost had a job doing one of those, but
I can see with your boys.
I definitely can see that girl say Moochie.
And that's in another life.
Some
Hey,
of it,
Shayna.
Some of it, the people have to take some responsibility. They the ones who picked up their phone and they dialed the number.
Yup.
So
it's
you
not
can't
like
be
they
mad
called
at
them.
They didn't call them. You called these people, and so but they also played on people. They said things to, people are stupid. As humans, we're stupid people. So
I mean, I won't say stupid. I'll say a lot of people are gullible.
Well, I think it was gullible and desperation.
Yeah, like what you said earlier.
All the above. All above.
Remember these things.
Whatever word to dress it up and make it nice with a bow on it. It's also the same thing. They going through whatever they're going through. I lost my job. I need somebody to talk to. And then then this person is playing on your weaknesses and
absolutely
things.
So I mean there was maybe some stupidity in there because you can't
maybe I shouldn't use the word stupid.
No,
but I'm gonna say but maybe gullible or naive or something like that.
Right. Yeah, but like if you look, a lot of people's watching these things. Look, I can't even sleep at night over this dude. Let me find out if he cheating on me. And then call. People was actually doing,
and especially if you feel like the stuff they're saying is actually happening, then you're gonna call even more. Now, if they getting it wrong, then that's probably gonna be the last time you call.
Exactly. You might. It's hit or miss with this.
Very hit or miss. Real quick though, Moochie, B Will was answering our questions as far as the legal part. B Will said
hold up, let me see.
The disclaimer came after the lawsuit.
Oh yeah, it did.
And then he said, they said originally they advertised the calls to be free, not just the first 3 minutes. Okay, well then, yeah, that's a problem. That's definitely a problem.
Yeah, and Amina's right. That's why you couldn't call from a payphone. It had to be a landline phone.
It had to be a landline.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, snap.
Who gonna get up there? Back then, you only used quarters. You mean to tell me somebody really gonna go on a payphone with a whole bunch of quarters and call? Remember, Inga, the calling cards wasn't even out yet. Remember those? That's another diabolical
thing with the calling card too.
Sure. This is stuff y'all don't even have to know about now because everybody got their own phone. Anywho, yo, I laughed at this dream because when she had the dream that she was
funny
getting a reading, and then she was like, "And call a lawyer."
But that was real.
Yeah,
that was definitely real.
Yo, she's like, "You need to get rid of them snakes." And she said, "And call a lawyer." And then she woke up. I thought this was like, it was like her speaking to her. She was like, "I was waiting for you to come to me." And she said her real name. Anybody know her real name? I had to look. I had to.
Really I don't remember how to pronounce it, but
yeah, it's the pronunciation for me.
It's Ure D. Harris.
Oh, that's why she go by Ray. Ray.
Yeah, so I thought this was like, I thought the dream was funny. I did. But the other guy, Peter, wanted to have her do stuff on her own because they knew she wasn't gonna be able to. What they did in the meantime, they was like, "Look, Miss Cleo's gonna have to take. She can't be on the phones right now, but you could do other things." So they had her go on talk shows and things like that. And after that, the guy Steve was getting mad because basically she was starting to get some money from this, doing all these interviews, being in magazines, being on talk shows and things like that. She was even on Larry King, I believe, back then. So yeah. So they was trying to take her name, and he was trying to take her name and say that he owned it, but he didn't. This was her whole character. This was her character from that play that she grifted those people off of. But they went and dug up this news article, and they showed the article with her real name. So now it looks like she's not who she says she is, even though she really isn't. But her lawyer had a point. Look, you can't just denounce this now. Now you gotta go full character and be this person to keep you out of jail and to keep you from owing that money. You know how much money she owed y'all? Did y'all hear how much money she owed?
Million? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It was more than $1 million. It was a couple of million. 44 million she was being sued
for. Dang.
44 million.
You know how much that was valued back then? Like, woo!
So that's a lot now.
Woo!
It's just more than I got. So, yeah, 44 million she was being sued for. Hey, Tina. So yeah, her mother, even though her mother said, "Don't come crying to me when this goes bad," her mother's, you tell your kids that, but you end up supporting them. She ain't turn her back on her, and she even like, I like the way she told her to, like, keep her head up and stuff like that with it, and she did what she had to do to survive. I don't think she was trying to she just looked at this as a job, y'all. And that's what I saw too. But that fame and popularity can be something.
She did, and she really didn't understand, like I said, and read the fine print and get the other aspects of it, or the other intricate parts that was going into it. She didn't know everything that they was doing. She just was worried about, hey, I'm here, I'm making my money, I'm giving my kids a better life, I'm getting up here doing this acting job. And when it came down to it, because you did that and because your face was on the front of it, it was easy to kind of just throw you under the bus and say, that you were the one that did all of this on your own. It seemed like they was kind of, well, it didn't seem like that's what they was doing, broadcasting her more than they was the guys, even though it's their daggone company, and that wasn't something new. They already was having issues from before, so it was like they was known with this already. That's why I feel like they really wanted to take them down, but then they was like, we can't just take them down. That was the argument they was having at first. We got to take her down too, because she was a part of it, and she's telling people that she's the psychic. So, yeah.
Just a mess.
And the fact that he was like, "Oh, we own her," like he went and told the secretary, "Let her know that I own her ass, and make sure she can't come back in here for no meetings," after he just finished smiling in her face.
Yeah, he was crappy. He was crappy to her. But you know what part I did like? When the news reporter came to the house, when look, the news people knew she was gonna get served with papers before she did. Dang. And they came when they came to the house, she knew nothing about it. So she just coming home from work, sounded like herself. And they ain't hear no accent. He was like, I didn't hear no accent.
Yeah, I remember when that was on the news, and they was like,
"Yo, I remember that too." I was just
who is that?
Let's be real. Like her,
Yeah, she got exposed. Yep.
yeah, that happened on the
Mhm.
news. I remember that too.
But there were people who were already down her act. Let's talk to any real Jamaican. That was not no Jamaican accent. Her accent would go in and out. It wasn't. It sounded real fake. It was so. It was just. I don't even know how people really kept believing that because it was. Yeah. Anyway, it wasn't no real accent, child.
Well, look, them girls in the yoga class was pissed off with her.
That was funny too.
No, he was like,
Well, a lot of people, if they, especially if either if they haven't been around Jamaicans or haven't gone to Jamaica. I mean, the average person just sitting there, they probably just didn't know. They did not know what a real accent is supposed to sound like.
Mhm.
So they got swept up in it. They believed it. They thought
mm-hmm,
that I mean, they just because she was saying the things that they wanted to hear, and so
Absolutely.
they wasn't even thinking about no accent. They wasn't thinking about accent. They
Right.
got caught up in believing what she said.
Right.
yup, I agree with that.
Mhm.
So she oh, let me wait a minute. One of my pages is missing. I hate when stuff like this happens. Okay, yeah, here we go. So look, she even was laughing at how they was making fun of her on TV because I want to say it was Mad TV because that lady used to do her real good back in the day. The lady that do Whitney that used to be on Mad TV
Mad
too.
TV and Living Color
Uh
used
huh.
to do it.
Yeah,
You
that's what
know.
I was about to say. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
you gotta be able to laugh at yourself. Sometimes you gotta laugh through the pain. At the end of the day, she was like, shoot, she doing a good job. She has to give her props.
Mm-hmm. I thought this was good, but did y'all know that she ended up okay? So I don't know if y'all saw this at the end because this is the real person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's her name is Yuri Del Harris, aka Miss
Mhm.
Cleo. She passed away from colorectal cancer on July 26, 2016, under hospice care at the
Mhm.
age of 53.
Dang.
Stephen Feder and Peter Stoltz paid a hefty sums to the FTC in multiple states and victims for the billions of dollars that they
Mm.
reaped from their company. Psychic
That's
Readers Network. They still operate this to this day, y'all, under
mhm.
companies and attempt to live a quiet, low key life. So
Yeah,
they still
yeah.
doing it, y'all.
Hmm. Yeah, but I did like that part when her mother was like, "Since when you sit down and be quiet, now you gotta fight for yourself." And she went in there and told them, "If y'all don't do what's right, like I'm about to go and start doing these interviews and telling them, my side of the story." And of course, they tried to beat her in the head, like you gonna make yourself look worse. She said, "Shit, I'm already looking bad. How much worse could I look? That's okay, but you gonna be looking bad right along with me." And they didn't want to deal with that. They knew she wasn't bullcrapping. So at the end of the day, that's when they finally made the settlement and everybody was starting to give back their damn money. Like, I ain't about to
Yeah,
take the fall for y'all.
but at the end,
Well, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
What'd you say, Inga?
no, I was just gonna say, but overall though, the rest of her life up until she passed,
Hmm.
these two guys, they still around to this day. They still
Oh
making
yeah,
money. They have other companies. They just transition. They just move their money from this
right.
company to something else.
Mm-hmm.
But
And kept
and
going.
she
Didn't
end
miss a
up
beat.
as the one who suffered at the end. Because if
Yeah,
you watch the documentary, her life didn't. She
yeah.
lived a
She
very
went.
quiet
She
life at the
went
end.
through a lot of things, and my whole thing was she knew that. She
Mhm.
even said, like, them two are gonna be okay. These are two white men that have a damn business. They'll be able to move on from this, but I won't.
Yup, she
That
was
was her
right.
argument. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you guys haven't seen the documentary, it's on Max. It's
Hmm.
Call Me Miss Cleo. Matter of fact, it was on Lifetime. It came on actually right after.
Yeah, the
So if
documentary
you
is
haven't
good.
seen the documentary, it tells more details. It's very informative. You get a real peek into her life and what she went through with this. She tells more of her story
And her personal life
and her
too.
yeah, you get to know
Mhm.
her personally. So I liked the documentary, and the movie was great too. Anybody thoughts? I know you saw it, Inga, me and you talked about this before. As far as the documentary, any of you other ladies seen it?
So
Yeah, I saw it. It was good. It was very informative because a lot of the stuff I didn't know either. I remember her, and I remember when all that stuff came out in the public, but I didn't know all the, ins and outs of her life. And I was like, ooh. So I
And
did.
you notice in the movie, they and I understand why they didn't touch on it. Maybe that is being I don't know. I ain't gonna, yeah, maybe because it's Lifetime, or maybe they just didn't feel it was necessary, and that's fine. But in the documentary, it definitely goes into her personal life. But in the movie, they insinuate things, but they didn't say it. But
Right.
they show it in the documentary. Her, what she was into and what she was about. So
Mm-hmm.
her mother insinuated stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So but
It did
I,
glaze over it because it mentioned her, the father, and
yeah, and even she said, you don't like my lifestyle, or the mother said something about her lifestyle, and so because I had already seen the documentary, I knew what she meant when she said the lifestyle.
mm-hmm.
So
can you want to elaborate what she meant by the lifestyle?
but
Sh-
she was an open lesbian. I mean, she had
mm-hmm.
up until she died, she had a white lady who was her lover.
Oh, that.
I
Yeah,
think they might have been. Did they get married? They might have been married.
I think they got married
I think
towards.
they got married before she had passed.
Yeah,
She
she
got
got
married to
married, but
and she became active in the community. Like she was at gay pride things and stuff like that. Like she back in the 90s you couldn't go be open
Yeah,
and free like
not
that. So
like
that
that.
was
no.
yeah. So no,
Okay.
you definitely could. No, yeah, no, like that. You couldn't, especially in the black community.
I think
and
she went as
and
far as
but later on, by the 2000s and stuff, she was able to feel more free, and all
mhm.
this Miss Cleo stuff had went away, but she stayed very quiet. Remember in the documentary, Muji, she
she,
never was coming out the house.
yeah,
She pretty much stayed
she
a
stayed to
recluse in the
herself
house.
after that. Yeah,
Yeah, she stayed there. I don't know what she was doing to make money.
she did. Well, remember she had a couple of books she wrote,
She did, yeah,
and
yeah.
she had the books when she was doing a little circuit with the psychic stuff, and
Hmm.
then she had other books also. But you know what I was gonna say? She seemed like she had her the person that she had her daughters with, they was in the life too, and I think they had like some sort of fair exchange, and they
That
had a
happens all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Hmm.
played a facade, and that's what the mother was insinuating. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know what kind of games you and him was up to, but already know what he is. Like the way she
Ooh.
was letting you know, like everybody knows what he is, like that.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
I'm gonna call Cleo. Cleo Ray, whatever her name was, she spoke highly of her husband because he had died at that time. He was already dead at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he died, but she did speak positively about him. So
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And maybe it was no reason to say anything. Maybe because they I mean, I'm just speculating here. Maybe they had each other's back, holding each other's secrets and things like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do that. They will
yeah.
go and have children together, even though we ain't attracted to each other. This is just for the purpose of I want kids and you want kids.
Mm-hmm.
But
Some people
outside of
couldn't afford all of that artificial insemination and
that
stuff like
wasn't
that.
really a thing back then. I'm not saying it didn't exist, but it was like rare.
Yeah,
Like
they used to do it the old fashioned way. You had to have
you had to
money to
have
do stuff
you
like
had to
that.
have money. Yeah, it was a lot of gay people who was having sex with people just so they could have kids, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
only, it was just the only it wasn't no hookup type. I mean, it wasn't no relationship,
It was a fair exchange.
it was fair exchange. Yeah. So, um, yeah, yeah. And I said Suburban said it, but I said it earlier in the comment to somebody else at the beginning when we first started talking about it. That girl was her lover.
Yeah.
She didn't say it, but I'm almost sure that lady was her lover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the girl who slapped her daughter in the face, I think that was her lover. So
You
Probably
think
so.
so?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
Knowing that I saw the documentary and I know her life, so that's what made me think it. They didn't say it in the movie. I mean, yeah, okay, it could
I
just been
mean,
her home girl that she let her
that
crash
she's
on the sofa. It could have been
it
that,
could have been
but
that.
Yeah, it could have been that or a neighbor or something like that. But I don't know why I believe it might have been her love. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little too contentious for it to be a love.
Yeah, because they didn't focus on it. It was more about the slapping of the daughter. So
Yeah.
I'm only speculating that because I had saw the documentary. It came out like a year ago,
So
like
let me ask you a
2023.
question.
So
Yeah, I feel like it was because even the way she picked up the broom and started hitting her with it, it seemed as if she might have been already hitting on her, and that's when she grabbed it from her and was like, "Enough is enough." Well, I'm just saying.
Yep. Cause they
I
be
have a
fighting
question.
too, yo.
I have a question.
I ain't mean
The
to laugh on that.
documentary-
Tamika, the way Tamika said she already had probably been hitting up on it.
Heck
Might have
yeah.
been.
Come
Yeah,
on.
they might have been scrapping with each other up in there because they
Yeah, where she probably was like, look, I gotta
Right.
get out of here. These people is coming. I don't got time for this. Not today.
I have a question, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
The documentary you guys are referring to, is that the one that had like Raven Simone and the comedian from Mad TV, or that was Life?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the same one that came out a year ago.
That
20.
yes.
I don't know what
Well, they
was on.
actually have two other ones.
No,
I
they
know
have
one
more
was
than one
on.
documentary.
Yeah,
They do have more
It
than
was
one.
one on Lifetime. I know the one they showed
That's-
right after that seemed like the same one that was on HBO though.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even look at it.
I watched it. I watched the
I just
beginning
know
of it. That's how I
Lifetime.
remember it.
I just
Yeah.
know Lifetime, when they do their movies like this, they always have their own documentary to follow.
That might have been a Lifetime
It might have
documentary.
been
The
theirs,
HBO
but
Max one is still on HBO Max.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still on Max. That one on. So I think like this might be a Lifetime one.
One. Okay.
Yeah, because usually you're right. Like after they did the Wendy Williams thing, they
Yeah.
had a documentary right after her
Or even
thing. So
they did the
that
same
might, yeah. And it's been more.
Jackson.
It's
They did
been
the same thing.
multiple documentaries about this lady.
yeah.
Conversations
Okay.
about this lady. Yeah. And the Larry King interview, you can find that on YouTube.
Mhm.
Or it used to be. I don't know if it's still on there, but I've seen it
Okay.
floating around on YouTube when she was on Larry King telling her
Yeah.
side of the story.
Yeah,
And I
'cause
think
she-
the only
she-
reason why they did cave in is because she was gonna go probably and expose them.
She was.
She was gonna end up being a witness for the prosecution, and it would have been worse for them. So they was making 24 million a month. So
A
for them
month.
to give out some millions of dollars, that probably was no
And they
big.
was gonna
They
try to
probably
have
still
her
had
on
money.
the,
So
they was gonna try to have her on the hook for the 44 million. He was gonna
yeah, it
try
was
to
just
leave
easy
her
for them to
with
just go
that.
ahead and pay everybody out, and then
That's messed up.
yeah, people were getting mad. I understand both sides of it.
Me
They
too.
were scamming people. The company was scamming people before Miss Cleo even put in the application that came there. They was
Right.
already scamming people. This been going on before she even started it.
Exactly.
So this was a scamming operation from the beginning. But on the other hand, people were mad. It's like if I call some number I see on TV and then I'm gonna get mad because they charging me and I'm gonna go after them to get my money back. you picked up the phone and called the people. So I see
I
both
get
sides
it.
of it.
I do think some of the callers definitely bared some of the responsibility as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
Yeah,
right,
they definitely didn't read no fine print, but who does that? No one's ain't anybody doing that. When
no.
you used to order stuff online back, it wasn't no online then. You order CDs online, order albums online, the cassettes online, whatever it was, VHS online. You just called the number and just order what you want, and no one was reading no little fine print.
Mm-mm.
At least I don't remember doing that for myself. I don't remember reading no fine print. You want what you want and you just get it, and but once they start seeing the phone bill was $400 and $500, that's when they like,
That's
oh, wait a minute here.
insane.
Yeah, that means people was on that phone for a long time. You got to look at it like this too. If they held for 3 minutes, once they went to that other number, and then you be on the phone with her for an hour. Shoot.
Crazy.
All I know is with this, they was already getting lawsuits when he brought her in there to tell how much numbers she was bringing in. He was already had his back up against the wall. Steve, when Peter brought her in the office, like, I got some good news for you, and was showing how good her numbers was doing. So
You know what part I thought was funny when she first met with them at the restaurant, and he ordered her a T-bone steak or whatever it was, and had that whiskey. She was like she living a good life, drinking that whiskey, and I mean, she just was thinking about the money she was making. She didn't think it was going to come, and I think that could happen to anybody. I'm sure this could happen to anybody. Yeah. But at the beginning, she did
you
scam.
saw they was
I wonder
even
what happened.
bringing bums off the street. The guy said, "Where's the food?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but did you see?
But
Wasn't
what
it
happened?
that when
Did
they
she
put?
have to pay those people back from that play? Because she did scam them people at the beginning.
I think she got sued for that, but she left them with an IOU. If she would have hit them off with the money when she was getting it, I don't think she would have had any problems. But didn't he come to one of them jobs trying to look?
She should have hit him off. Should hit them off.
Did she come to one of them jobs? Did he come to the job? One of them jobs trying to look for her? I thought he was, because he seemed like he was on a mission.
I don't remember.
I know he was watching.
So that was just somebody that some random dude that they bought off the street.
No, that was a random guy.
That was a random guy. Yeah,
they was just trying. He was looking for. They promised him food. They said, "Look, if you come in here, we give you a sandwich or whatever." And he coming in looking for the food. Instead, they want him to sit there and do read the script and go through all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then the girls was getting mad because she was getting most of the calls.
All the calls, they wasn't making no money because you get paid based on your calls, and they wasn't making no money. So,
all right, so
and now one black girl got mad because every time she called, like 60 times, she called just to talk to Miss Cleo.
Oh, that was the girl with her mother.
And they say, "Well, what's your date of birth and what's your name?" And I said, "Well, I want to talk to Miss Cleo." But you can't talk to her; she busy,
She was like, "I want to talk to Miss Cleo." Yeah, she was calling her.
Child.
Her mother had the whole.
Yeah, she was going crazy and then going to the mailbox and ripping up the damn bill. Like, your mother's still gonna find out, girl.
Yeah, because like anybody, if you about the why you're like, we ain't never get no bill. Let me call see what's going on, or
exactly.
And you might go a month and say and forget about it and say, all right, I don't care about that. Maybe they forgot about me, and then you might let a month go by, but a couple of months, you're like, oh no, let me check into this, and then that's when she found out. When she had the cord in her hand, though, she had unplugged that phone. See, that was back in the days when it was like one phone in the house.
Yeah, that was funny too.
And that phone was like in a central place right in the house. So it wasn't like you had no phone in your room and no privacy.
I had a phone in my
room. It was
room.
like one phone with a long cord. It would go all through the house. You could drag it all through the
house. Me and my brother had a phone well, he had it in his room, but I used to contribute money to the bill. Then when the phone downstairs, my father would get on that phone and be like, off. Like, look, I'll be downstairs in the basement talking. And they look,
them 1-900 numbers was used for everything, not just the psychic stuff. It was used for so many things and ordering all kind of stuff. Next thing you know, you got all this stuff coming to your house. And then the bill come and you can't pay, and it was it was a whole bunch of scams. But this psychic stuff is still out here now. Yeah, I see commercials or I see stuff, or it's still out here, and people are gullible and people believe in these psychic stuff.
Some people be real on point with it. Look, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Look, like I said, some people be real on point.
Yeah, they do. They got them shops by my house, honey. Them people stay listening.
Yeah.
They book them.
And you see them in I see them around sometime. You see a place like it look like a house, got a big old sign say psychic. People come up in there.
Look, and look, you might even see one of these there.
A little crystal ball.
Yeah,
right.
They either have their crystal ball or they have their cards.
But I thought, look, if y'all want to do the documentary, we might come back and do that one day. So I'm gonna put a link a poll up, and then we'll go from there. So what y'all got going on, ladies? What y'all got going on? What you got going on, Mama?
So this week I'm back. I took a little break from YouTube, so I am back in the YouTube streets. So I'm definitely gonna be dropping some content this week. Definitely gonna be dropping like a hot topics video because baby, it's been a lot of stuff going on. Also I think Love and Marriage Huntsville comes back on. Is it this week or I think next week? But anyway, y'all, just stay tuned. I'm gonna do some reality TV stuff and hot topic stuff. So stay tuned.
What you got going on, Ginger Snacks?
I just dropped a little nostalgia throwback on New York Undercover. I dropped that over the weekend. Because I just happened to been going on Peacock one day, and I saw they had all the seasons of New York Undercover. So I was
Ooh, I did not
sitting
know
back
that.
and enjoying them. I was enjoying them like it was a brand new show. I was watching them like it was brand new. Really, really enjoying New York. I miss New York Undercover.
Yeah.
Check out her live because I was in the chat, and it's a lot of nostalgia with that. And
yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I talked to I said I got to talk about because some people might not never seen it, or they just haven't seen it in a long time. Like me, it had been many years. So now I got somebody. I told somebody else about it, and now they going back watching it, and they liking it. So, but anyway, I dropped that, and then I did a little quick thoughts on the Braxton's show that just came back. And let me see what else I got going on. Tomorrow I'm doing something with Candy, Miss Kira, and 69 Ways. And then Bel Air's coming on this week, so I'm gonna be doing that. And Love and Marriage Huntsville does come on Saturday, so that'll be probably on Sunday. We'll be dropping that. So it's gonna be busy now. So I ain't got no more excuses to take breaks. I gotta be cranking some stuff out now because I done made all these promises. So I gotta be,
I hear you.
I gotta do it.
Tamika, what you got going on? I think you already said it though, right?
I know sometime this week I'm still trying to set it up. I didn't figure out which day is gonna be which, but I should be doing The Man with 1,000 Kids, and what was the other one from Lifetime? I thought my husband's wife was dead. I should be doing those two sometime this week, and then of course Love at the Lockup, and I joined EJ on Fridays for Family Business, and I think that's it for this week. And then of course when Bel Air and Reasonable Doubt come back, I'll be talking about that.
Right. Okay. So look, y'all need to tune in. We will be talking about Presumed Innocent. That's the next thing. That's up. We'll be talking about that Wednesday. So keep y'all notifications on. If you're not subscribed to any of these people's their links is in the description. Keep your notifications like, yeah, I'm out of YouTube jail, y'all. So I'm back. And it's more content coming your way. Thank you guys for coming through. I really appreciate you guys, you ladies, for coming through and being on the panel. EJ was supposed to be here, but we got our signals crossed. But she will be back for the movie night with the ladies, which will be up next. So thank you for coming out, y'all. God bless. Have a good night, y'all. Ew. Put me up in that algorithm and holla at your girl. Ew.